chicken stew, beef stew, kimchi jjigae even. But I don't know, I think the warmth of just a nice hot stew just makes me think of, like a hug from my mom.
Our lives are swept into a vortex of this intricately connected world. Providing an in-depth exploration of global security, diplomacy, economy, and culture to offer a unique international perspective. Embark on a global news journey with the Geovista today.
It's March 18th here in Seoul, and I'm Kim Dami. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour. Starting with South Korea's addition to the U.S. sensitive countries list. Seoul's foreign ministry says the inclusion is linked to security concerns related to government-related research institutes, not foreign policy. In fact, a U.S. Department of Energy laboratory contractor employee was reportedly terminated after attempting to fly to South Korea with reactor design software. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development projects the South Korean economy to expand just 1.5% in 2025, pointing to deepening trade barriers and escalating geopolitical uncertainties as reasons for the downward revision. A springtime cold snap here in South Korea has brought heavy snow to the capital region as well as the Chungcheong and Gangwon areas. It's expected to snow throughout the entire day, with the spring chill to linger until Wednesday morning. South Korea's addition to the U.S. sensitive countries list has been explained by the government, which stated it's due to security concerns at U.S. research facilities. Our Kim Jong-sil starts us off.
Following communication with the U.S., Seoul's foreign ministry confirmed that South Korea's inclusion in the lowest tier of the U.S. Energy Department's sensitive and other designated countries list is due to security-related issues rather than foreign policy concerns. Seoul also clarified that U.S. officials said the designation will not significantly impact joint energy research or technology cooperation. The ministry further highlighted that South Korea has been on the list in the past and was removed through similar diplomatic efforts. It is said that the inclusion follows an incident where security regulations at Idaho National Laboratory, a research institution under the U.S. Energy Department, were breached. In its semi-annual report to Congress for the period ending March last year, the Energy Department listed an instance where a contractor was terminated after boarding a flight to South Korea with nuclear reactor design software. The investigation involving the FBI and Homeland Security revealed the employee's knowledge of export restrictions and communication with a foreign government. The U.S. is said to have explained this case as one of several security regulation breaches. South Korean Minister of Trade, Industry and Energy An Deok-keun is set to visit the U.S. this week to discuss the issue with his counterpart. Seoul is committed to engaging with Washington to resolve the issue before the designation takes effect on April 15th. 김정실, Arirang News.
U.S. President Donald Trump's top economic aide on Monday warned of more economic uncertainty stemming from Washington's evolving tariff policy. Speaking to CNBC's Squawk Box on Monday, U.S. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hess said there will be some uncertainty between now and April 2nd. Referring to the date, Trump is set to unveil his reciprocal tariff plans. His comments come as market analysts and business leaders have criticized the sweeping tariff announcements, which have led to volatility in the markets. However, Hess defended Trump's tariffs against Mexico, Canada, and China, calling them very positive developments, adding things will clear up after April 2nd. The OECD has yet again signaled a slowdown in South Korea's growth prospects, citing trade tensions and geopolitical uncertainties. Our Moon Hae-ryun reports.
Steering through uncertainty is what the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development is calling the current global economic situation, forecasting a gradual slowdown in global economic growth over the next 3 years. Its interim economic outlook published on Monday anticipates that global economic growth will moderate, projecting figures of 3.1% for 2025 and 3% for 2026. Notably, the growth forecast for this year has been revised downwards by 0.2 percentage points compared to the previous projection given in December last year. The OECD highlights that while the global economy has remained resilient, recent economic activity indicators suggest a softening of global growth prospects. Significant changes in trade policies were outlined as a critical concern, as the new Trump administration rolls out sweeping tariffs, warning that these shifts could impede economic growth and contribute to rising inflation. The organization also noted that inflationary pressures persist across numerous nations. Regional variations in economic performance are expected. In the United States, growth is projected to slow due to the implementation of increased tariffs, with forecasts of 2.2% this year, while China's economy is expected to maintain relatively robust growth, with forecasts of 4.8% in 2025. However, Canada and Mexico are projected to be severely negatively impacted by the new U.S. tariffs. As for the South Korean economy, it is projected to grow at a subdued pace of 1.5% this year and 2.2% next year. The 2025 South Korea growth projection has also been revised downwards, reflecting the general trend of reduced growth forecasts among major economies, and falls in line with forecasts from other major institutions. The Bank of Korea adjusted its forecast for domestic economic growth this year also to 1.5% back in February, while the Korea Development Institute revised its forecast to 1.6%. Going forward, the OECD's policy recommendations advise central banks to navigate potential increases in trade costs and has called for international cooperation to address trade concerns, structural reforms to promote competition, and support for growth in productivity through the integration of artificial intelligence technologies. Moon Hae-ryun, Arirang News.
South Korea is experiencing an unusual spring chill, resulting in heavy mid-March snow. Our Lee Soo-jin has this report.
As winter makes an unexpected return to South Korea, Seoul has been issued its latest ever heavy snow advisory. According to the Korean Meteorological Administration, over 10 centimeters of snow accumulated in the northern part of the capital between 8 p.m. on Monday and 6 a.m. on Tuesday. In the county of Cheonan in Gangwon-do province, 14 centimeters of snow accumulated over the same period, while significant snowfall of more than 10 centimeters of snow was also recorded in cities in Gyeonggi-do province. Heavy snow advisories, which are issued for a region when at least 5 centimeters of snow is expected to accumulate over a period of 24 hours, were issued for the Seoul metropolitan area as well as in parts of Chungcheong-do provinces, Jeollado provinces, Gyeongsang-do provinces, and Jeju Island. And a heavy snow warning issued when snowfall is expected to exceed 20 centimeters within the same period was issued for Gangwon-do province. For Seoul, this marks the latest ever heavy snow advisory issued, surpassing the previous record set on March 9, 2010. This year's unusual mid-March snowfall was caused by an Arctic vortex, a large rotating mass of cold air bringing Arctic cold air with temperatures as low as minus 40 degrees Celsius into the country. With heavy snow advisories issued nationwide, the Interior Ministry activated a Level 1 Central Disaster and Safety Countermeasures Headquarters emergency response posture and raised the nation's crisis alert level for heavy snow from the lowest level attention to caution. But the heavy snowfall has already resulted in accidents. Around 12:50 a.m. today in the city of Ansan in Gyeonggi-do province, a car skidded on a snowy road and collided with a median barrier, killing the driver while other vehicles were damaged by debris. While the snow and rain falling nationwide are expected to gradually ease by the afternoon, to prevent further accidents, local governments are deploying automatic de-icing equipment and personnel to clear roads. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
Many are expecting the Constitutional Court to rule on President Yoon's impeachment case later this week. Now, what's taking the justices so long? We turn to legal expert Jung Hwang this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. So what do you think the 8 justices are contemplating at this stage? I mean, didn't the court stress a speedy ruling?
Right. I think the attack that we saw on Seoul Western District Court probably has spooked this court. So I think they're probably taking extra care to make sure that they're crafting their written decision to be as criticism-proof as possible. I mean, obviously, there are people on both sides of the issue who are so, firmly, entrenched in their beliefs that no matter what the Constitutional Court says, they will not be happy if the decision does not go as they would like the decision to go. So it will be impossible to please everyone. But at the same time, I think the court realized that not only are will they be talking to South Korean people in general, they're talking to the history as well. So I think they're crafting a decision that will basically stand up to the scrutiny of the history as well as the entire nation.
Well, some are betting that Thursday or Friday to be the day the ruling is announced now, but some even expect it to happen as late as next week. Which day are you betting on?
At this point, I'm pretty agnostic about, what day is going to be. I mean, obviously, everybody would like to see this process sped up, but at the same time, I think the court would be, if I'm in their shoes, and I'm just, kind of imagining myself in their shoes, is that I'll be a little more worried about making sure that the actual written decision that'll go out is as perfect as I make it, rather than making sure that it's, either this week or a few days. I don't think in the grand scheme of things, a few days here, a few days there will make that much of a difference.
Like you mentioned, I'm sure the justices will pour extra efforts into drawing up their final statements, considering the gravity of the case. Now, what kind of statements do you think will be included once the verdict is delivered?
Well, fundamentally, these judges tend to be institutionalists in the sense that they would like to uphold the rule of law, they would like to make sure the Constitution is upheld and so forth. And I doubt they have too much personal loyalty either on any the political spectrum that people suspect. So I think their message is that, the rule of law stands, and for these reasons, we decide as follows. And I think they're trying to make their case as persuasive to as many Koreans as possible. And I suspect that's why they're taking this time, because, obviously 8 justices have to, agree with each other. So I think they're trying to craft a persuasive case. At the same time, they all need to agree at the same time. And I fully expect to see an 8-0 decision at the end of the day.
Definitely, it's going to be a ruling that cannot satisfy everybody at the end of the day. Now, I know Yoon's legal team said no, but do you think President Yoon make a statement before the ruling day? What do you think?
That's really hard to tell. President Yoon has proven to be a very unpredictable person, to say the least. But his steadfast strategy has been to rile up his core base supporters on the sort of far-right fringe of the South Korean society. So I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls some surprise that will be designed to rile up his supporters once again.
Well, then the question is, will the ruling and opposition parties be able to draw a joint message following the verdict? Because I remember back in 2017, they did when former President Park Geun-hye was ousted, right?
Right. Right now, the political landscape is much different from 2017. South Korean society is much more polarized. That's evidently basically demonstrated by the attack on the Western Seoul District Court. And I really do hope that we can avoid a violent outburst like that. But I am concerned, and I'm concerned that what kind of, society we'll enter into if something like that happens.
Right. But at the end of the day, we all want peace and security and, of course, the democracy. Thank you so much for sharing your insight with us, as always, this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he's going to call Russian President Vladimir Putin to discuss the potential ceasefire agreement for the Ukraine crisis. Our Lee Seung-jae reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump said Monday that he plans to have a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday to discuss putting an end to the Ukraine war. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One, Trump announced the date of the planned phone call, adding that a lot of work has been done over the past weekend to bring ceasefire discussion into fruition. When asked if he thought Russia would agree to a 30-day ceasefire, Trump voiced optimism. Ahead of the planned phone call, the White House said Monday that a deal to finally put an end to more than 3 years of war is closer than it has ever been. Speaking to reporters, White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt said that they're on the 10th yard line of peace, adding that they've never been closer to a peace deal than this moment. She stressed that Trump is determined to get the deal done. Meanwhile, the European Union warned Trump not to trust Russia ahead of his phone call with Putin. EU's High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Kaja Kallas, said at a press conference following the EU foreign ministers' meetings in Brussels on Monday that the consensus among the member countries is that Russia cannot be fully trusted. Kallas pointed out that Russia did not immediately accept the 30-day ceasefire deal agreed upon by the U.S. and Ukraine, adding that Russia will use the opportunity to make demands. EU foreign ministers at the meeting also discussed providing Ukraine with a new military aid package worth over $43 billion. The EU believes that additional military aid is urgent for Ukraine's security, as Washington is pushing for a quick end-of-war agreement. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
A U.S. Army Major General stationed in South Korea said the recent South Korea-U.S. joint military drill was not a nuclear war exercise. Major General William Taylor, who is serving as the operations chief of the UN Command and the combined U.S.-Korea forces, made the remark in an interview on Tuesday with Yonhap News Agency. When asked about North Korea's criticism of the Freedom Shield exercises, a joint drill military training program that started on March 10th, which the North claims are rehearsals for invasion. He also emphasized that all exercises are being conducted in accordance with international law. Also, when asked about the possibility of the U.S. reducing or withdrawing U.S. troops from Korea, he said the U.S. is focused on maintaining strong forces capable of ensuring regional security. In other news, the story of taste, especially that of sweetness as well as bitterness, begin in the brain with intriguing power dynamics. Our Cha Yoon-kyung tells us more.
As fruit flies are often used as experimental models, researchers created genetically engineered fruit flies that are vitalized when their sensory neurons are activated. When their sensory neurons for sweet taste were activated, they suppressed the sensory neurons for bitter taste. On the other hand, when sensory neurons for bitter taste were activated, those for sweet taste were not suppressed. This is because sensory neurons for sweet taste can control those for bitter tastes.
When sensory neurons for sweet taste are activated, those for bitter tastes are suppressed due to the electric field from the sweet-activated sensory neurons. As a result, when there are bitter and sweet tastes at the same time, the bitter tastes are eliminated.
The researchers explained that this principle could be the reason why black coffee tastes bitter, while coffee mixtures with sugar taste less bitter or fruit juices taste less sour. As a mechanism of the suppression interaction among sensory neurons for taste has been uncovered from fruit fly experiments, researchers expect that this will help with experiments on sensory neurons of different species, including animals and eventually people. Cha Yoon-kyung, Arirang News.
Good morning, I'm Choi Ji-hee, and this is The World Now. Following a series of U.S. airstrikes targeting Yemen's Houthi rebels over the weekend, President Donald Trump on Monday issued a warning to Iran regarding its support for the group. Trump emphasized that any future assaults by the Houthis will be regarded as direct actions by Iran and promised severe repercussions. Taking to social media, he said every shot fired by the Houthis will be looked upon as being a shot fired from the weapons and leadership of Iran, and Iran will be held responsible and suffer the consequences, and those consequences will be dire. The White House reinforced the stance, indicating that Iran should take the United States warnings seriously. Meanwhile, the Pentagon reported that over 30 Houthi sites have been targeted so far and vowed to continue using overwhelming lethal force to protect international maritime commerce until the group ceases its attacks. The European Union and its international partners have pledged substantial financial aid to support Syria and its neighboring countries during a critical transition period following the ousting of its former leader. At a conference held in Brussels on Monday, donors committed approximately $6.3 billion in aid for Syria and its neighbors, with the EU pledging nearly $2.7 billion. This year's total pledges are lower than the $8.2 billion raised last year, partly due to reductions in the United States foreign aid budget. Meanwhile, Syria's interim government participated in the conference for the first time, with its foreign minister in attendance.
Thank you very much.
Rwanda announced it officially cut diplomatic ties with Belgium on Monday, citing interference in regional matters. The Rwandan government announced that all Belgian diplomats must depart within 48 hours, raising concerns about escalating bilateral tensions. The decision follows accusations that Belgium has cited against Rwanda with regard to the ongoing conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Rwanda insists that Belgium has taken sides in the regional conflict and continues to mobilize against Rwanda in various forums, employing what it describes as lies and manipulation to destabilize the region. Finally, in the United States, New York City celebrated its 264th annual St. Patrick's Day parade on Monday local time, attracting approximately 2 million spectators and featuring 150,000 marchers. Participants included school bands, Irish pipe and drum ensembles, and uniformed personnel from the police and fire departments. Mayor Eric Adams and Governor Kathy Hochul were among the attendees and also wore green for the occasion. Meanwhile, in Chicago, the annual tradition of dyeing the Chicago River green with an eco-friendly dye, a practice that began in 1962, was once again observed.
A spring storm hit most of Korea with snowy surprise, with a heavy snow advisory issued yesterday in the capital, the latest on the record. Overnight, Seoul received nearly 7 centimeters of snowfall, and it will keep piling up through the mid-afternoon, with 1 to 5 centimeters more snow in store. East of Gangwon-do province could see 40 centimeters or more. Mountainous regions in Gyeongsang-Pukto province may see up to 20 centimeters. Heavy snow alerts remain in place for most parts. Strong winds will also be an issue, especially on Jeju Island and western regions, with wind advisories being in place. Temperatures remain on the chilly side throughout the day. Highs will be similar to yesterday, topping out at 7 degrees in the capital. Busan only makes it to 8 degrees. On the bright side, warmer days are ahead. Starting Thursday, we'll see a sharp turnaround as a warming trend takes over. Sunny skies return and temperatures will climb, melting away today's snow fairly quickly. So for today, bundle up and drive safely.
That is all we have for this morning. Arirang News will be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Thanks for watching.
How to survive in Korea. Weddings. Step 0. Attire. As a guest, dress formal to business casual. Avoid wearing all white, shorts or going topless. Step 1. Arrival time. Arrive 30 minutes prior to the wedding ceremony. Too many cars, too many halls, too many people. There are many twists and turns. Take pictures and shake hands. And write your name vertically, not horizontally, in the guest book. Step 2. Or, shibor. 50,000 won, 100,000 won, 150,000 won. Cash gifts are given in these units. Decide on the amount based on your relationship. Write your name vertically on the envelope. Step 3. Wedding etiquette. Fill up the front row. Guests have 3 duties to fulfill: clapping, cheering, and taking pictures. Step 4. Dining. Take off your jacket. This will be your seat from now on. Start with the not your everyday delicacies. Galbijjim. Yes. Bosa. Yes. Chili shrimps. Definitely yes. Kimbap. Yeah. Only if you can't live without it. No need to pile up food. You have more than one opportunity. Did you survive the wedding? Wait, did someone catch your eye? What are you waiting for? You're looking fine today.
We're here to bring a new type of news show. New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We're News Generation.
Bring news just for you. It's Tuesday, March 18th here in Seoul. I'm Songjin, and you're watching News Generation. Joining us today is Kwon Ju-yeon. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. And Im Sang-yeon.
Happy snowy March.
Happy snowy March. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. We're going to begin with our keyword news. Our keyword for today is K-beauty. According to global credit card company Visa, 11% of Visa card users who visited Korea during the fourth quarter of last year made purchases at brick-and-mortar beauty and cosmetic stores, and that's a 1.6 percentage point increase from the same period in 2022. Now, the strongest demand came from travelers from the Middle East, where 22% of all visitors purchased Korean beauty products during their trip. They were followed by tourists from the Philippines at 21% and Indonesia at 20%, which really highlights the region's enthusiasm for Korean beauty trends. So what do you think is behind the global fascination of K-beauty? And for our viewers, do you have any recommendations on must-try products or any spots that you can go to check out the latest K-beauty trends?
Yeah, so it goes without saying that actually the Korean beauty products are closely linked to K-pop and K-drama culture. So the flawless skin of these celebrities fuels interest in Korean beauty products and routines. And these trends make fans eager to buy the actual products. And furthermore, Korean men are also really good at taking after their skins. And,
like you?
Yeah. Thank you. And they have like the best awareness in aesthetics compared to other men from other countries. So this means that there are potential customers coming from all over the world in both genders, both men and women. And also, if you're planning to buy Korean beauty products, make sure you're aware of your skin type. The Korean beauty shops are really specialized, so understanding your skin type, whether it's dry, oily, or combination, and also your concerns like acne or wrinkles, will help you choose the right product.
Right, so you can buy customized skincare products. And as we're talking about aesthetics and beauty, I love your new glasses.
Thank you so much.
What about you, Jen? What do you recommend?
I do think that many people love Korean cosmetics because of the affordable prices and high quality at the same time. So many tourists enjoy traveling and trying these Korean products they can't easily get back home. And many of my foreign friends visit Korean road shops, especially the cosmetic ones, in order to test and buy a variety of cosmetic products when they travel to Korea. And when I go abroad, they often ask me to bring some specific Korean beauty items for them. And the clean ingredients and creative product items really stand out. And, you know, K-dramas and K-pop stars make people trust K-beauty even more. And as you can see in many advertisements in Korea, many Korean beauty brands use famous singers, celebrities, actors, which makes the products even more attractive, popular. And I heard that the tints or the lip products or sometimes eyeshadows they promote are especially well known. But honestly, my foreign friends know the latest trends K-beauty launches better than I do. So I actually asked them for tips now.
Oh, very interesting. So it seems that the K-beauty market is definitely expanding its global reach. And that was our keyword news for this Tuesday. So we're now going to move on to our main discussion of the day. Tuesday is when we dive into the latest trends shaping Korea's cultural scene. Take a look at the screen to find out more. Reality TV has always been a mirror reflecting shifts in society, and one genre that has been gaining serious traction in Korea is divorce-related programs. These shows either follow couples on the brink of separation or individuals finding new love after a divorce. Despite being a relatively recent trend, this type of content continues to grow in popularity. What's fueling the surge in divorce-themed reality TV shows? So we're going to talk about the divorce-themed reality show boom here in Korea. So starting off, have you watched any of these programs? Would you say that you're a fan of them?
Well, I think I have watched many of the reality entertainment shows about a divorce. As a marriage person, I found them both entertaining and heartbreaking as well, as they show the real emotions and struggles behind separation, divorce. It's fascinating to see how different couples handle their different issues, and while some parts feel a bit over the top, so dramatic sometimes, and well, the emotional moments do feel real for me. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan who follows shows regularly. I watch them because, you know, they have sometimes it pops up on my feed, so that's why I'm watching it. But watching those shows has made me reflect on how small misunderstandings can, you know, build up, can
like
build
a snowball.
up like a snowball. It reminded me that communication really does make a huge difference and make a big difference in any relationship, in the marriage as well.
Right, seems like communication is key to everything.
Indeed, indeed.
And Sang-Young, I think that you can offer us another perspective because unlike Ji-yeon, you're not married yet, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I don't usually watch these types of shows because I also don't watch actually matchmaking programs like Solo Inferno or Heart Signal. It's just because that I don't really have much interest in other people's private lives. So whenever I watch these shows, I get this feeling, why do I need to know about other people's romantic histories? So I rather prefer watching TV reality shows that makes me laugh without much thinking, or something that is informative, like a documentary. And also, I'm already full of stress due to my everyday life. And I get this feeling, why do I need to add another burden of my stress when I watch these shows? Because all the time I turn on the TV, most of the cast in those reality shows quarrel, and there are many people that are kind of unique and unusual from my perspective, of course. But I did hear from my friends that these reality shows are garnering a huge popularity these days, and that many couples can relate to the message of the show.
And I think that the fact that you encountered these TV programs when you were like flicking through the channel really shows that there is a growing number of these programs being aired in Korea.
Right.
But these shows aren't just making headlines domestically. Last month, the Wall Street Journal even highlighted the rise of divorce-related content here in the country. So Ji-yeon, could you tell us what the article said about these shows?
Of course, of course. Well, the Wall Street Journal recently published an article titled "A Secret to Longer Marriages in South Korea." Lots of shows about divorce contents. Divorced couples are hooked on a new wave of content about marital spirits. I don't have it that bad. You can probably get the idea just from the title. It explains that these programs aim to help struggling couples rebuild healthier relationships and transform into stronger families, stronger bonds. Many viewers even find comfort in these shows, realizing their own marriages aren't so bad after all. And according to the article, these shows offer practical tips and help ease the negative feelings people often have about divorce, about the divorce itself. And the report also highlights that these programs show that divorce isn't something to hide, something that is not a confidential information anymore, and that many people go through similar experiences.
Definitely. So as Ju-yeon mentioned, according to the Wall Street Journal article, these shows serve kind of like as a reality check for some viewers, because people in struggling or rocky relationships sometimes watch these shows and think, well, maybe my situation isn't as bad as I thought. I might be the luckier one. But we're now going to zoom out for a second, because we're going to look at the latest divorce rate in Korea. Of course, we can't directly link a decline in divorces to these shows. It's very interesting to see where things stand. That is related to what we're discussing today.
That is correct. Well, while the decline in the divorce rates is influenced by various factors, various reasons, including fewer marriages, there is some data that support this trend. Government data reveals that South Korea's divorce rate has been falling for the past 5 years now. Now standing at 1.8 per 1,000 people, roughly 3/4 of the US figure. And according to Statistics Korea's December 2024 population report, the number of divorces last year dropped by 1.3 3% compared to the previous year. This marks the 5th consecutive year of the falling of this trend decline since 2020. And these all signs suggest that this steady downward trend in divorce rates is likely to continue in the coming years. So that's definitely encouraging news for all of us.
Definitely. And we now want to tie divorce-related programs to falling divorce rates if we could. So Sang-yeon, what kind of potential impacts or influence could these shows have on should we say couples who are pondering divorce?
Well, first of all, divorce reality shows don't portray divorce or marriage as the ultimate goal of a romantic life, but rather as a part of everyday life that we face. So they highlight real conflicts between couples and show that divorce isn't just about breaking up. It's a complex process of adjustment and negotiation. So watching couples navigate these challenges and hearing honest and sharp insights and advice from marriage counselors or lawyers can make viewers reflect on their relationship with the partners and reconsider divorce in the first place as well. And more than anything, these shows create a sense of solidarity. It gives you the feeling that I'm not the only one who's struggling from this, which can be comforting at the same time. And for unmarried viewers, seeing different aspects of marriage may even change the way they think about their divorce, and they may find a way to navigate through the challenges that they are experiencing right now.
So these shows can provide insight, advice, and also comfort to both married and non-married viewers. And the reason why we found this phenomenon so interesting is because Korea has historically been a society where divorce was kind of taboo, something people kept under wraps rather than openly discussing. But today, these programs are pulling back the curtain on what was once considered a private matter. So I want to also ask you, why do you think divorce-themed shows are thriving in a country that once frowned upon even mentioning the word divorce?
That's a very good question. Well, unfortunately, South Korea has one of the highest divorce rates in the OECD Asia-Pacific region and ranks in the upper middle tier globally. In Korea, these reality shows have long focused on daily life, relationships, and marriage, making divorce a natural next step in this trend. And if you can look at the other programs in the world globally, viewers prefer real stories over fiction, which adds to their interest. And people find these stories engaging in their real life as they offer a glimpse in real marriage problems and provide a practical tips from experts. And, you know, I find these shows really helpful for me, especially the expert advice on better communication, understanding each other, understanding gender differences sometimes, and using these tips in my daily life. And if they can survive that, maybe I can survive my partner's snoring.
So these programs can actually help people sustain their marriages longer and healthier. What could be some other reasons, Sang-yeon?
Well, as you know, these kind of shows actually reflect the climate, actually the social climate of the situation that we're facing right now. So I think that one of the reasons that the divorce reality show is gaining popularity is because that there is a change in our social perception that divorce is no longer considered a taboo. Actually, divorce is more like a natural process of couples getting through all the troubles, and it's not a failure, but rather a personal choice for a better life. And also with plenty of dramatic and extreme cases that you can see in this show, these shows actually attract viewers who crave for very provocative and also spicy content.
Right, definitely. I really like the term, it's not a failure, but a personal choice. All right, so as we're talking about this new wave of divorce content here in Korea, we also asked our viewers whether they watch reality shows related to divorce, and if they do, what draws them in. And here's what 3 of them answered. Our first comment for this Tuesday is by Benny D97. Yes, I'm interested in the stories of their past and the reasons for their divorce. I also get quite emotional when they reveal their personal stories. DSG1010, reality shows about divorce are way more dramatic and exciting than most other shows. I know some parts are exaggerated, but they're just so addictive. After Wayne 20 says, since divorce is becoming more common, it seems like a lot of people are looking for practical advice and insights on how to handle the whole process. And after the break, we'll be joined by a cast member from one of Korea's most talked about and popular divorce-themed reality shows. Don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
Welcome back. We're pleased to welcome Park Ji-soo, a lawyer and cast member of Love After Divorce Season 4. Welcome, Ji-soo, to the show, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. So, Ji-soo, we first want to ask you, I think this is a big question. What made you decide to join the show in the first place?
Yeah, I saw Love After Divorce as an opportunity to start a new chapter in my life. The show brought together people with similar experiences, and I think I really like the idea of creating a space where we could be open about our past while looking toward the future. So, I think all of us also wanted to challenge some of the stereotypes or misconceptions around divorce and kind of be a part of a conversation that shifts the narrative. Whether it's marriage or divorce, it's not the end of a person's story. It's just a new beginning or a different path in life. So I think I wanted to show that moving forward is possible in love or personal growth. So, yeah.
Lovely, Ji-soo. So, since being on the show, have you noticed a shift in how people around you or viewers perceive divorce?
Absolutely. The show, I think, has made it easier for people to have open conversations about divorce, especially in cultures where it's still somewhat taboo. And a lot of people have reached out to me to say that they felt more seen, more heard, more understood because of the show. And I can completely relate to that because I felt the same way watching the past seasons. And I think more people are beginning to see divorce as a transition, a life transition, rather than failure, like you guys said. So it can be seen as something that can lead to self-discovery, healing, even new love.
Okay, Ji-soo, then what kind of impacts do you think these kind of divorce-related reality show could have on our society in terms of both positive and negative?
I think shows like Love After Divorce give people hope and representation. They remind people that love and happiness aren't just for those who are experiencing them for the first time. Everyone deserves second chances in life and relationships. And beyond that, I think the show also builds empathy. The viewers get to see the real struggles, the real emotions of the participants on the show. And I think that helps break down stigma and create more understanding.
All right, Ji-soo, thank you so much for your insights today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so as Ji-soo just mentioned, these shows can help reduce the stigma surrounding divorce in Korea, a very socially conservative where divorce is still not considered normal as of now, but there's also been some heavy criticism directed at some divorce-related programs. So could you tell us about this backlash, Chun?
Yeah, of course. Well, these shows are entertaining, interesting. It is, of course, indeed the fact, but it has lots of problems as well. Some say they exaggerate conflicts between the husband and wives and expose too much of people's private lives and invade their privacy. And, you know, harsh comments and emotional harm to families, especially children, are real concerns. So I highly recommend those broadcasting stations to block all those comment sections for them. While, you know, they offer insights for all of us. Balancing entertainment with responsibility is quite important. So, you know, it's an entertainment show for us, but it's a real life for them.
So everything should be kept in moderation.
It is indeed. That's quite important.
Definitely. And as with any reality TV show, we need to be mindful of how these programs really shape perceptions, as Chuyeon mentioned. So, Sang-yeon, what should viewers keep in mind when they're watching or consuming these programs?
Well, I'm a single, but I assume marriage is not easy, right?
Oh, there are ups and downs.
Yeah, there are ups and downs. And when it comes to a married life, you need communication skills and also mutual trust with your spouse. And although while divorce reality shows highlight the struggles and challenges of marriage, they have this tendency to focus on the extreme cases to attract more viewers. In reality, especially around me, there are many couples who try to solve this in a wise manner and to build long-lasting relationships with communication and compromise. So watching these shows can provide insights into relationships, but it shouldn't discourage people from thinking about getting married altogether. After all, marriage is a deeply personal journey, and each couple's experience is unique, and every case is just all different. So instead of fearing marriage because of these reality shows, I suggest that you take these shows as a reference and to come up with the right measure to address conflicts with your partner.
Because even if these shows are reality shows, they do not 100% portray the actual reality. And that's News Generation for this Tuesday, but we will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Special thanks to Kwon Ji-yeon.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And Im Sang-yeon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in, and hope you join us tomorrow morning as well. We are
News Generation.
How to survive in Korea. One room. So, you're surviving in Korea if you've signed a contract for a one room. Obviously, you're a pro. But the real deal begins now. Step 1. Housewarming. No need to buy toilet paper, diffusers or hand soap. You'll get them soon enough as housewarming gifts. And some are bound to pile up. There's nothing better to serve your guests than milpaeyu nabe. If you have Korean friends coming over, don't forget the extra garlic. Step 2. Garbage disposal. With great power comes great responsibility. You've had a good time, so let's get to work. It might be tempting to sweep everything into a trash can, but you have to separate your garbage. Not bothered? Beware that negligence is punished with a fine or public humiliation. Step 3. Drying rack. You're excited to live alone in Korea, but the fate of these items, hanger, storage, or a hanger. Go get fresh coffee outside. Jogging doesn't cost anything, and nothing beats instant rice. But keep one item around so that you don't get too lonely. Step 4. Pros of living alone. No mum. Cons of living alone. No mum. A new towel doesn't magically appear. You have to do the laundry regularly. If anyone gives a towel as a souvenir, take it. Get rid of mold immediately. Don't be lazy with the vacuum cleaner. Housework is an endless affair. Overwhelmed? Give your mum a call and thank her for everything she's done. Did you survive in your one room? Wait, you have an unwanted visitor. Call someone you fancy. Could be the right person for the job.
Capturing your day starts new day at Arirang.
A global conversation through the unique lens of millennials and Gen Zs. News Generation.
From politics to culture, delivering news from home and abroad. The Daily Report. A profound analysis of Korea by members of the media. Press Perspective.
A distinct perspective and a broader view. News Center.